Evening, friends. God bless you and Merry Christmas. We are continuing our study on Christmas story. In the passage we are going to study, you may find it little odd that how this will fit in the Christmas story. And the title also, you will be questioning why I title this particular study with a name called Closed Book. Let me read Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, 16 onwards. So he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. And he was handed the book of prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he had anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recover of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord." Then he closed the book and gave it back to the attendant and sat down. So here we see that Jesus read particular passage and then he closed the book, and he was reading the book of Isaiah from the Old Testament. Now this instance happened after Jesus was baptized. He went to wilderness. He was tempted by devil, and then he started his public ministry. And he went to Nazareth, his hometown, and he went to synagogue and he read the book, and he was reading from book of Isaiah. And after the reading the book, he closed the book. Now, why the Christmas we are celebrating Christmas? Why Jesus came to this earth? And he himself summarized the reason why he came to this earth. And he said very specific that because he, verse 18, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recover the sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord." So this is the, in nutshell, why Jesus came to this earth. And have you ever wondered which part of book of Isaiah he is reading to? Now, let me turn your attention to the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, and first two verses. Jesus is quoting, or not quoting, actually he's reading Isaiah 61. Let me read Isaiah 61, 1 and 2. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God." Did you see little subtle difference? Verse 2, "To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord," and that is a half sentence in Isaiah. The full sentence is, "To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God." So when Jesus read this particular passage in a Luke, Gospel of Luke, he come to this point, verse 19, "To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord," then he closed the book. Jesus did not read the full sentence that is written in the book of Isaiah chapter 61 verse 2. And he closed the book. And he closed the book at very particular point. The proclaim what? To proclaim the year of the Lord, acceptable year of the Lord. And another thing in Isaiah says that year of the vengeance of the Lord. It is the vengeance and the day of vengeance of the Lord. The day of vengeance of the Lord. Vengeance means to pay back. And so many times we Christians or the church leaders had made a not good effort in explaining that Jesus came right now is to save the world, to set the captive free, to restore the sight of the blind. Yes, the day of judgment is going to come in the future. But right now, we are living in the time of grace. And we all has this misunderstanding of God that He is here right now to punish me, to take a revenge on me. God is not for me, God is against me. And this is why Jesus closed the book, that to make it clear that He is this first. When He came and born in Bethlehem, He came not to take revenge, not to punish for our sin, but to save us from the punishment of sin, from the day of vengeance that is going to come in the future. Right now, Jesus has come to save you and me, because the day of vengeance is coming, but it is in future. Right now, no matter what, you and me has not done enough that God can turn His back on us. Because whatever we have done wrong, God took the punishment of our sins and put on Jesus. And He died on the cross. So when you are reading the Christmas story, remember that Jesus has come not to set the account straight, not to take an inventory of how many sins you have committed, not to make a list of what wrong you have done. He knows everything. He does not have to take a list. But He has the list. He knows everything. He knows every sin you and me have committed. He knows everything. And all those sins He took upon Him. He paid a penalty for our sin so that we may not face the day of vengeance that is coming in the future. And right now, we are living in the time of grace, and that is the reason Jesus closed the book. So when you are approaching God now, when you come to Jesus, don't be afraid. There is nothing that you can hide from Him, or there is nothing that He is not aware of it. So don't worry about it. No matter how terrible sins you and me have committed, they are all paid by the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. So celebrate Christmas, because Jesus has closed the book of punishment. For you and me, God has extended His grace. Merry Christmas. God bless you. Thank you.